Everybody hear me? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Cái lúc đó during October last year, uh, a multinational company, emotional national software company, Bosch, has contacted with iTech to collaborating with us, into collaborating with the software, with the web development software that's aimed to empower on management and also assisting on managing on the associates. But after the project that we are encountered and has been carefully evaluated, this was not our first project. And as so and fates, it's been had plans different with us. So yeah. All right. For today, our project, for this project that I would like to present, present on our capstone presentation, which displayed, which illustrated on our work, which consists of brainstorming, testing, designing, coding. And here I would like to say thank you for everyone to hearing our presentation on capstone dependency management system, which means my boss. Yeah. And with further ado, let's begin. For the following part, for this following section, we'll divide it on 6. That's the overview, the project delivery, artifacts, which is related to the project delivery, management, and tech and non-tech difficulties, the project level, and lastly, question and answer. But for this project, we were underprivileged and the guidance of our supervisor, Mr. Farr, who has helped us on advising continuously and supporting us on our third project. But not only that, our client, Ms. Jin, who not just only that giving us the insights of the values within it, but also has worked us continuously throughout our development process. And she's also has presented us on the functional research on the overall user of UI and the overall user experience. For that, let's go for our teams. First of all, Winifred, who is our backend developer and also our bug hunter, who's all the bugs that will help our project after that. And Fred, who is also our backend developer, who will contribute highly. And the following up is me, who is project developer. Who is also highly skilled front-end developer and business analysis, who is shaping our project into study. And lastly, our team leader, who is also a front-end developer and who leads the teams. For that, I would like to give this section for my team member.
Hello. You guys hear me? Okay. So thank you, Long, for the introduction. Now, let's move on to the overview. So you guys know that the human resource management is a very important aspect in every business. Therefore, Bosch Global Software Technology Vietnam has made a request to our development team is to make the competency management system. For short is CMS. So this tool is made for the internal staff of Bosch to use, and this tool will help manage the skills and the information of each associate as well as the manager. And therefore, they will help the manager know the strengths, weaknesses, and the potential of their employees so they can apply the proper training as well as assign the proper tasks for them. Let's move on to the team roles. So the first member of our development team is Dom. Dom is the quality assurance and quality control the tester, I think. And he is in charge of ensuring that the code is running well as the requirement and UI is working in order. He is also contributed to the backend side of the whole program. What's wrong? Yes, apologies for the technical issue. So, yes. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry for the technical issue. Let's continue. So the next member of our development team is Pat. He is the second backend developer in our team, and his main role is to develop some details and manage and make sure that the data from the backend from the database is delivered properly to the front-end requirements. He is the main communicator between the back-end side to the front-end side. Next is Long. He is the front-end developer in our team. Due to his experience in his past jobs, he is qualified and assigned to be the front-end developer in our team. And finally, and next is Han. He is the team leader of our development team because he has 2 years experience in his past jobs. He is efficient in both the back end and the front end side. So therefore, his position as the team leader is very suitable. He is the one who will be in charge and make decisions whether or not the team shall make a decision on whether and on several things. And finally is me. My name is Tu. I am the front-end developer as well as the business analyst of the team because I myself proclaim myself as someone who has the very good skill in the foreign language as well as communication. So I was in charge of being a business analyst. I have a big mind to like analyze the business requirements from our clients and then translate them into technical requirements. The fourth will be it will enable our team to develop the application suitable for our clients' needs. Next, we will move to the planning. So let's see how our team plans to program. First is the UI design and mockups. So for the UI design, our team needs to gather the requirements from our client, which is to host meetings. So our team will have a meeting with our client to gather the requirements, their situation, as well as the company's background, to gather their wants and needs, and then those wants and needs will be translated into technical and non-technical requirements. And then for the front-end side, those requirements will be converted into mockups. The mockups will be drawn and defined by the product owner, is Mrs. Jin, and me, the business analyst. And these mockups will be drawn by the tool Balsamic Mockups 3. It is a great tool. You should try it for yourself. I have included those requirement changes, the detailed requirements in the appendix section. If you want to check out more, please scroll down to the appendix to check it out. And these are the examples of our mockups. So I will briefly describe the mockup for you. For every pages of the website, there will be a top navigation bar as well as the side menu. If user wants to navigate to a page, they will click on each item on the menu, and on the bottom of the tab, there will be the information of the current user in the system. But these markups were pretty early, so it didn't include them. And for each dialog as well as the pop-up, they will be uniformly designed to fit with the Bosch style. These are another example of our mockups. Now let's move on to the system design.
Hello, my name is Pat, and I'm going to talk about the system design project. So our project is divided into two main blocks. First is Spring Boot application for the backend, and the second one is the Angular front-end web application. So the Spring Boot is follow the architecture of entire. The first layer is the API controller layer. The second one is the service where the business logic is being executed. And the third one is the database access layer. The last one is the physical database. So I'm going to talk about the third main point is our management methodology. So our project follows the sprint methodology. We divide each sprint for 2 weeks, and every day we will have 10 minutes daily meetings to collect our status about the task and our error, mistake, issue. So for more details, so sprint planning and meetings happens at the beginning of the sprint. The requirements from the clients will be gathered and then processed by both our clients and our team. Discussed item will be transferred to product backlog and project backlog. Meetings will be Meeting will be divided into 2 hour sections. Our daily Scrum meeting will be about 10 to 15 minutes. It mainly focuses on the task status of each team members, and if there is any issues occurring when developing, so it will be raised in here too. The project manager will be the one to update the project status and give the extra information. In addition, the information meetings will be twice every week. The front end and back end teams would work together to integrate back end and front end. Tester will also report the issues, the bug in this meeting. At the end of the sprint, there will be a retrospective meeting. This meeting is to review all the progress has made in the sprint, what is good and what needs improvement. All the detail will be noted down as a reflected report. You can see here is image of the sprint. Next. Here is our task. It will be divided into different small tasks. You can see down here. So about the quick requirement change, new mockup will be updated every time the client wants to change. First, we will identify the requirements and from the customer. That change will be analyzed with the team during the Scrum daily meeting for implementation, and tasks will be created in the project backlog. So this is our work progress. So you can see here, there's many requirements, and we are already done with it by the end of April. Next is the communication part.
Thank you, Ben, for the presentation. Now let's talk about how we keep track of the changes and the updates that happens between the team members and the stakeholders. So in order to ensure effective collaboration, transparency between work and alignment between team members, there are certain tools in communication tools that we use to communicate with different parties. So first, in order to keep track of how much effort that we have put in, Bosch provided a HR tool for existing associates in order to see that how much hours that they have put in their daily work. As you can see from here that it does display how many hours that we have worked and how much time that we have to work in order to align with the contract that we have signed with the company. And we can also see the details that how much hours that we have put in each day with using that button. And in case of absences, then we can also use this the lead requesting to my manager. From the sum of the hours worked from this tool gives us the project effort that the project effort in hours that we have spent in order to develop. As you can see that Tân Phát Nhìn Thư is the most has put the most hours into this project followed by me and Lam. And next part is the communication plan. So there are 5 parts to this. So first, the requirements clarification. So every time that there is a need to clarify any parts of the mock-up, then there will be a requirements clarification between the PO and the product owner and project manager. Therefore, the frequency, as you can see, is on demand. We only need it when there is a confusion that happens, and the outcome of that would be the requirements that needs to be clarified would then be clarified, understand, and documented, and it would be put to a priority. And next is the sprint planning. The sprint planning will happen in one day of the Monday morning of the beginning of a sprint. It will be between the project manager and the dev team in order to plan the work packages that we will do in that sprint, which is in the span of 2 weeks. And at the end of that sprint, we will have a sprint review, which will consist of that team, project manager, and the product owner to see and review that what we have done in that sprint. And project status is the daily scrum meeting that happens between that team and project manager, which we report that what we have done from that day, what we have done in that day, and if there is any issues that happen, and the final part is the project milestone review. This is the review between PO and PM that will demonstrate the functions that are taken for that milestone. So in order to ensure effective collaboration and alignment with the work that we done, we use the following tools and methods to keep track. So first, to keep track of the documents, we use Docupedia to store and see the document that is related to the project. Next, we use Jira in order to keep track of the tasks that we are doing. And the status of the work of me and other people. Next, we use Bitbucket in order to host the support that we are doing, and we also use SourceTree in order to help with the development in the machine that we are using. SharePoint is a baseline project document. And if we need to take note, then we usually use OneNote for it. And within the team, we usually use Microsoft Teams, and Skype for work is also available for us, but we don't use it much. Next, like to said earlier, we use Parsamic in order to come up with the mock-up design. And if we need to send emails to different parts of other people, to the company, then we would use Outlook, and for our team, we would use Google Suite to write documents and do presentation. Now let's talk about customer feedback. So in order to talk with the customers, then we contact via Microsoft Teams with Mission. And if we need to send an email, then we will also use Outlook. For example, when we need set up a meeting with Ms. Jin to to a daily, to the spring review. And as you can see that these are the feedback that Ms. Jin has given to us. Her feedback is very crucial because the mock-up earlier, as you can see, it doesn't have the right color palette and and sometimes it does not have the right UI. For example, for small stuff like a drop down. So her feedback is very crucial to ensure that our design is matched with other tools that Bosch is using. Finally, the communication with supervisors. We use Telegram in order to communicate with Mr. Huang, and sometimes if we need to use mail, then we'll use Google Mail that our school provided to communicate with him. Mr. Huang really helps us a lot with the documentation that we need to submit to AUT. And finally, the quality control aspect of the project, I will hand over to Mr. Tom.
All right, so let's move to the quality assurance. So this is a summary of the test report. We have a total of 110 test cases. First, we will talk about the UI testing. We have a total of 38 test cases that have passed and 2 test cases that have failed. For the UI test, we will use manual testing, and for the backend test, we have a total of 35 test cases, 60 positive cases passed, and 16 negative test cases passed, and 19 test cases passed. For the backend test, we use unit testing with JUnit framework and Mockito in order to test the services as well as the REST controller. And for the API test, this is also the same as the backend test. We use Postman in order to send the request to the API and check if it actually matches our expected result or not. So let's move on to the bug tracking process. There are a total of 5 steps. The first of all, if when a bug is found, the tester will determine the impact of the bug to the project, whether it is critical, major, or minor. Then we will analyze the bug. We will examine every detail to determine if there is a defect or not. And depending on the particular reason, the defect cannot be fixed. And moving on to that, we have to fix the bug. So, in order to do that, we will create a bug fix task to another associate, and that assigned associate will fix the bug. And then he or she will look for the resemblance compared to the defect as assigned. And during this stage, the underlying issue and resolution will be illustrated. And next, we will retest the bug. In order to determine if the flaw has been corrected or not, the tester will reproduce the bug. If the bug still persists, the problem will be reopened and will be re-evaluated at the reopen stage before moving on to steps number 4 and 5 until the bug has been fully addressed. And finally, it's about closing the bug. So when a bug has been fixed, the tester will inform the project manager about the issue, and the project manager will be the one to close the issue. So here's the screenshot of the Jira board that we have taken here. You can see that this is actually the test execution, and in every test execution there is a test step in which that we have the action and the smaller steps in order to conduct that action, and also there is the input bug data and the expected result. And in order to determine which step has been passed or failed, I will have to execute it in a testing environment, and I will be the one to determine whether it has successful or not. Or for example, just that, such as this one, when there is a test case that has been failed, we will be giving them the actual result that it doesn't match the expected result and attach a video in order to recreate a bug and then assigning someone else in order to fix the bug. So you can have a look at the rest of the test cases here. All right, and finally we will come to the project debug.
So that is the end of our presentation. We would like to hear any feedbacks and any questions that you guys may have for us. Thank you for listening.
Did you guys deploy the system for deploy in the course?
Yeah, yes, we did.
Do you have any feedback from the end user?
So actually, we have a meeting about every 2 or 3 sprints with the stakeholder, and we will gather feedback from them. We will gather feedback and any requirement change. We will work with the system accordingly
Now
to.
this is feedback from the future, right?
Yes.
Now they run a command. If they run a command on your system, the real scenario, the real case.
Yeah, there's a meeting with the head of department who is he is not involved with this project, but he has seen he has seen this product, and also in that meeting there was a person from the HR team that also came there, and they did give us feedback.
So I mean that you didn't deploy this system for the whole company in Boston, you?
For the whole company, would be not yet, but for our department, then yes. Because like Bosch is divided to multiple departments, and currently the tool has been deployed for our for our department only, which is like 200 people, which is like 200 people.
So that means we may not have 200 employees in your system
Yes.
and have no feedback.
Feedback.
So are there any feedback from 200 users?
Yes. Firstly, that our system has been deployed first for the managers to test, and they have provided feedbacks for us, and we opened several hotfixes as well as the requirement changes to the system. And during the beginning of May, we have released the version 1.0 for the real users to use it. In fact, it's currently on development for the enhanced features of this project. Yes, I'm afraid I cannot.
So the question is, give us an example of a feedback for improvement.
An example,
So also I will give you feedback from your demonstration because I see you capture the video and you increase the speed in 150%. But when click on the feature, still loading is quite long.
Because the bot server they host in Singapore, but and in like March there was a
So for example, if I'm a user, I'm an employee, I use the system, I will give directly feedback. The system is quite slow.
Yes,
Something like this.
That is
Right?
That's because the internet speed the whole company detail because like back in March there was a Japan that the international community like
So you made that 200 end user, they understand that they work in the e-town and the internet is quite slow, and when they use the system in having logic like this,
they won't have different internet. They won't have a faster internet speed if they use it at home. And now the demonstration is taken at detail, so that's why. So that's why it is slow.
so if you have a test case, you test that for the logic features much like faster than the demo.
I think that has mistaken your question because this demo is done in the local host.
Yeah.
When we deploy it on the server, it is much faster than the local. Yeah. So yes, it is the truth. I'm not making it up. Because when you the server, when we deploy it on the server first, we have tested the internet speed of each API being called, and if there is an API that has been loading for more like 5 seconds, then a bug will be found. The bug is related to the internet speed, and therefore it will be handled by the backend
So
side.
do you have any kind of test case so that?
Well, if us to display the bug tags, the bug fix tags, it will be like violating the policy rules because they don't want us to openly talk about these tags in public. They want it to be undisclosed. But
So my question is, do you have any performance testing test case?
it will be it will be reported from the real user, but for the performance test specifically, there isn't. Yeah.
You don't have a test case for performance test, right?
Well, yes, unfortunately, but it is only reported by the real user. If the real user, firstly, the dev will test it, and they will test it on track with the network chart, and they detect if the API is longer than 5 seconds, they will fix it. They will handle it by the backend side, and then they will deploy the server and test again. And if it has the performance test, like it's loading lower than 5 seconds, then it is passed. Then they will handle it to the managers to test once again. And if they have anything to report, such as the bug, the performance bug too slow, they have data displaying bug, or if they see that the requirements
So
have.
design these test case. Your team, the QC, the QI team in the boss, no way.
Yeah. Yeah, I am the one who have the designers of test cases, and when we conduct the performance testing, I will test for the API to see how long it will take, and if the performance is way too long, we will assign it as a bug.
So you mean that you have the test case for the performance testing?
Yes.
So why your answer is no?
Sorry. Sorry. Actually, there is no performance testing because our previous test that we conducted here is about the user acceptance testing. So that means the user they test the functions to see that it works enough. And unfortunately, currently there are no performance testing here. No.
Any questions from audience? Please.
So, first question is that I think that your features are complex, but the number of test cases in the test cases like not too much. So you maintain test coverage for your own front-end Python side.
Yes.
So how many percent test coverage? Because too little, like just less than 100.
That's actually because we are mostly involved in development and we don't have much time just to do the test. So that's why the test cases they are not really that much. But in general, the coverage is over like 90%.
Also one question, the log time of one member of your team will be equal to the log time of all the single board members from our team, for example. So what you mean like you didn't architect the log time of the common test? I don't say that because like you log more than 1,000 hours for one team member.
That's because it depends. It depends on the type of the task. For example, if it's related to development, it sometimes can take quite a lot of time. If that feature is actually turned out to be too complex, it will actually just take a lot more time. And as I said earlier, because we don't have much time in order to devote into testing, that's why you can see that the work hours they seem to be like very different.
Basically, the team struggle more in the development phase rather than have time in the testing because the common problem that I personally said in a CAR meeting between the teams and my PM is that some of us think straight through the task without having a thinking and planning anything of such and in that case when there is like a struggle they wouldn't like know how would they handle that and this is the the area that some of the team members really lack of in yeah, it is still a persistent problem that even our PM has to cycle and say to each of us like NF.
So your PA is from Boston.
Yes, PM is from both the sort yeah.
So you would both have like a convention or requirements of the minimum test coverage for a system or feature to be
For that, no.
So why it's just like you mentioned that you finished it in May and now they implement it to the new system?
Yes.
Feedback?
Yes.
No test coverage before. Like, I mean, I think Boss is a very big company and they should have very strict regulation now. The people should get the
The street coverage. This is a project that is aimed mostly for the UC and the coverage where isn't like isn't too harsh and now in fact is doing an enhanced version of a more enhanced version of the tool. Then it will be a much more different much more different stuff because then it will meet a stricter coverage. But from our own personal experience, the most strict is actually on the front end side of things where we need to meet both the responsive guidelines and the color design. It has to match with the which are the tools that Bosch is currently having in their company. So that is the part that is more important. Basically, UI is currently more important than test coverage.
Final question. So will you take them to work with Boss after the project? Do you have a difference?
Currently, 3 of our team members has ended their intern contract with Bosch due to either the Bosch HR cannot find a suitable position for them, as well as they have other paths they are pursuing. Only me and Unfact is continue working with Bosch. Like I said before, Unfact is working on the enhanced version of this tool. So is there any other question you want to ask? Yes, the whole tool we are demonstrating here on this presentation is just version 1.0. In fact, it's working on the 2.0 version of this tool.
So, in my opinion, this is the project that we, after we finish, we commit all the software in the remote place like Git, and then there will be newer intern coming from different university will continue this project with me as their so this is the project that I'm asking about.
Okay, just a comment, not the question for you, for your team. After hearing the team presentation, so I recommend to team. When I hear your presentation, so look like I review a resume of the several candidates the same in the experiential work and experience session. They provide many information, but they are no provide achievement. And when I'm here in the final of your presentation, I don't know exactly and what achievement you your team got, and it means what the in the first of the project, you talk about the purpose of the project, how to evaluate the strong and the weak of the employee and the people. But in the end of the presentation, I don't know what achievement through application you have the manager involved, how to evaluate and how to
So you want us to talk like 1 to 2 minutes about what we have heard?
just let that topic. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.